Listen to me. Your life is not falling apart because of the devil, your enemies, or bad luck. It's falling apart because you can't control the three things that shape everything: your mouth, your mind, and your money. Most of you are not broke because you don't make enough. You're broke because your mouth talks too much, your mind thinks too small, and your money keeps slipping through your hands. You want freedom? You want peace? You want success? Then you better learn to master the very things that are mastering you. Because until you conquer your tongue, discipline your thoughts, and direct your dollars with purpose, you will always be a prisoner in your own life. You don't realize how much power sits right here in your mouth. Some of you are not losing in life because you're not smart, not talented, or not gifted. You're losing because your mouth has written checks your life can't cash. Every time you speak without thinking, every time you let anger run your tongue, you're setting fire to opportunities you prayed for. Words are seeds, and once you plant them, you can't dig them back up. That's why the old proverb says, death and life are in the power of the tongue. You don't even have to swing a fist to destroy your future. All you have to do is let your mouth run wild. Think about it. How many times have you ruined a relationship? Not because you didn't love the person, but because you said something in a moment of rage. How many jobs have slipped away? Not because you couldn't do the work, but because your mouth couldn't stay closed. That boss didn't fire you because you weren't capable. You got fired because you couldn't control what came out of your lips. See, the tongue is small, but it's like fire. One spark can burn down the whole forest. Self-control begins with mouth control. You can pray all you want. You can set goals. You can write visions down on paper. But if you don't control what you say, your words will betray your destiny. The philosopher Epictetus once said, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. You'd be amazed how many doors would open in your life if you just learned to listen more than you talk. Some of you talk so much you can't even hear the instructions God is sending to elevate you. You can't even hear wisdom because your mouth is drowning out the sound of opportunity. Successful people know when to speak and when to stay silent. The wealthy don't waste words. They don't waste energy. They understand that every conversation either builds or bankrupts them. They don't argue about nonsense. They don't clap back at every insult, and they don't need to prove themselves with words. They let their results do the talking. You can't keep saying you're going to be great and then use the same mouth to gossip, complain, and tear people down. That's like trying to plant roses in a garden you keep pouring poison into. It will never grow. And I know somebody in here is saying, but it's just words. It's not that deep. No, it is that deep. Words create worlds. The universe itself, according to ancient wisdom, was spoken into existence. If words can create galaxies, don't you think your words can create or destroy your career, your family, your wealth? Stop throwing away your future because you can't tame your tongue. Every word is either a brick to build or a hammer to destroy. You decide which one you're holding when you open your mouth. Control your mouth, because the words you speak today are the house you will live in tomorrow. Some of you don't even realize how much damage you've done because you can't control your emotions. You think the biggest enemy is out there. But let me tell you, it's not out there, it's in here. It's that fire that rises up in your chest when someone disrespects you. It's that heat that makes your words come out sharper than blades. And once you let it out, you can't take it back. You can apologize. You can regret it. You can wish you hadn't said it. But those words are already carved into someone else's memory. The scar remains long after the anger has cooled. I've watched people throw away marriages because they couldn't calm down and think before they spoke. I've seen friendships end that were built over years, destroyed in seconds by one heated argument. And don't get it twisted. I'm not telling you not to feel. We're human. Emotions are natural. But wisdom is knowing how to master those emotions so they don't master you. The great thinker Aristotle once said, anybody can become angry, that is easy. But to be angry with the right person, to the right degree, at the right time, for the right purpose, and in the right way, that is not within everybody's power. That's control. That's maturity. See, when you let anger drive, it crashes everything. How many times have you seen someone in the heat of the moment punch a wall, slam a door, say something cruel, and then cry later because they know they went too far? That's what emotions do when they're not tamed. They sabotage your future. And here's the psychology behind it. Your brain, when triggered, literally shuts down the logical part of your thinking. That's why in anger, you can't reason. You're not thinking about the consequences. You're thinking about the pain you feel right now. That's why the wisest of the ancients used to say, he who conquers himself is the mightiest warrior. You want strength? Real strength is not throwing a punch, not yelling louder, not tearing somebody down with your words. Real strength is standing in the middle of chaos and choosing silence over rage, peace over pride. I'm not saying it's easy. It's one of the hardest battles you'll ever fight. But if you keep losing this battle, you'll keep losing the opportunities God meant for you. Employers don't keep hot heads. Investors don't trust unstable minds. Families don't survive when anger rules the house. You've got to breathe. You've got to step back. You've got to remember that once words leave your lips, they're arrows. There's no pulling them back. And don't think this is small. Empires have fallen because kings couldn't control their tempers. Wars have started over angry words. On a smaller scale, your own household can be torn apart the same way. If anger can destroy nations, what do you think it's doing to your paycheck, your relationships, your legacy? Stop letting emotions make permanent decisions in temporary moments. Control your tongue when you're mad, because silence in anger is power. Control your emotions, or your emotions will control your life. Your mind is the battlefield. Your mind is where the war is either won or lost long before you even take a step. You can have the talent, you can have the resources, you can have the connections, but if your mind is poisoned, you will sabotage yourself every single time. That's why the wisest voices of history said, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. You cannot rise higher than the level of your thoughts. If you fill your mind with junk, don't be surprised when your life starts looking like a trash pile. Think about it. Every day you're feeding your mind something. What are you putting in? Music that glorifies destruction. Gossip that feeds envy. Hours of scrolling through other people's lives while neglecting your own. That's garbage. And garbage, it means garbage out. You wonder why you're stuck, why you can't focus, why your energy is low. It's because your mind is full of clutter. You can't expect to run a race with a backpack full of bricks, and yet some of you are trying to run toward success with a mind weighed down by negativity. Let me make this plain. The greatest weapon you have is not in your bank account, not in your connections, not even in your muscles. It's in your mind. Every invention that changed the world started as a thought. Every empire was built on an idea. But the same way the mind can create greatness, it can also create destruction if you let negativity take root. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius said, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. That's not just words, that's truth. If your thoughts are small, your life will be small. If your thoughts are defeated, your actions will be defeated. And here's the danger. Most people don't even realize their mind has been hijacked. You're walking around thinking those are your thoughts, when in reality, they've been planted by the environment you choose to be in, the people you hang with, the shows you watch, the conversations you entertain. They're all shaping your thinking without you even knowing it. That's why protecting your mind is not optional, it's survival. Look, wealthy people, successful people, those who change their family tree, they guard their mind like it's gold. They don't let everybody speak into their spirit. They don't consume everything that's handed to them. They filter, they choose, they build walls around their focus because they know one wrong seed in the mind can grow into a tree that blocks the sun of their destiny. You've got to take responsibility for what you let in. You've got to decide, am I feeding my mind with thoughts that give me life, or am I feeding it with things that drain me? If you keep letting negativity live rent-free in your head, don't be shocked when it starts redecorating your life in its image. Control your mind, because your future can only go as far as your thoughts will allow it. Every single day, you're feeding your mind something. The question is, what are you feeding it? Because your destiny isn't shaped by what you do once in a while, it's shaped by what you do daily. You don't become strong eating one healthy meal and then going back to junk food. You don't build wealth by saving money once and then blowing every paycheck. It's the consistency that creates transformation. And the same is true for your mind. Whatever you're feeding it over and over again is building the future you're going to live in. Some of you keep asking, why can't I change? Why do I keep repeating the same patterns? It's because you keep feeding your mind the same diet of negativity, fear, and small thinking. And then you wonder why your life hasn't leveled up. Don't fool yourself. Your mind is like soil. Whatever you plant in it, it's going to grow. If you keep planting weeds, you can't expect a harvest of fruit. The ancient philosopher Seneca once said, associate with people who are likely to improve you. Why? Because what you expose yourself to daily becomes your mindset, and your mindset becomes your destiny. If all you consume every day is drama, gossip, arguments, and distractions, then don't be surprised when your future looks like a circus. If all you feed yourself is doubt, then when opportunity knocks, you'll convince yourself you're not ready. But when you feed your mind daily with discipline, knowledge, wisdom, and vision, you start programming your brain for success. You start seeing possibilities instead of problems. You start acting with courage instead of hesitation. Let me make it practical for you. If you want to be wealthy, what are you reading every day? What are you listening to? Who are you learning from? Because the person who feeds their mind with strategies, wisdom, and financial discipline every single day is building the muscles to handle wealth. But the one who feeds their mind with, I can't, it's too hard, I'll never get out of this, is starving their destiny before it even starts. Here's the thing. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your habits. And habits are shaped by what you consume daily. Just like an athlete can't train one day and expect to win a championship, you can't fill your mind with trash 6 days a week and think one Sunday of positivity is going to transform your life. No, it's what you do daily that builds your destiny. You've got to decide what you're feeding yourself. Every podcast, every book, every conversation, every song, every video, it's either building your future or breaking it down. Stop saying it's entertainment. Entertainment is food too, and you're either eating what makes you strong or what makes you sick. Control what you feed your mind, because what you consume today is constructing the destiny you will walk into tomorrow. Your thoughts are like wild horses. If you don't put reins on them, they'll run you straight off a cliff. Most of you don't lose because of a lack of talent or opportunity. You lose because your mind is undisciplined. You let it wander into fear, into doubt, into distractions, and before you know it, your whole day, your whole week, your whole year is gone. The body goes where the mind leads, and if the mind is lost, your life will be lost with it. You can't afford to let your thoughts roam unchecked. Fear will build prisons in your head that don't even exist in reality. Your doubt will talk you out of blessings that were already yours. Distraction will steal the time you can never get back. Think about it. How many times have you had a plan, but instead of sticking to it, your mind wandered? You opened your phone for 5 minutes and lost 2 hours. You started the project, but fear whispered, what if you fail? And you put it down. You had an idea, but doubt said you're not smart enough, you're not strong enough, you're not ready, and so you buried it. The great teacher Buddha once said, the mind is everything what you think you become. That's not poetry, that's truth. If you let your mind constantly wander to failure, you'll live a life of failure. If you discipline your mind to focus on victory, you'll walk into victory. This is why soldiers train not just their bodies, but their minds. Because when the battle comes, it's not the strongest who win, it's the most disciplined. Discipline is about focus. It's about catching those negative thoughts the moment they try to sneak in and saying, not today, you don't belong here. It's about redirecting your attention back to what matters. You think wealthy people don't face fear? You think successful people don't wrestle with doubt? Of course they do. The difference is they don't feed it. They starve it by focusing on what builds, not what breaks. They guard their thoughts the way a king guards the gates of his city, because they know one intruder can bring destruction. Let me make this practical. The next time fear tells you you're not ready, answer back. Nobody is ever ready, but I'm willing. When distraction tempts you to waste your time, remind yourself that time is the one resource you'll never get back. When doubt whispers that you're not enough, remember the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Every great achievement begins with a disciplined thought. Every downfall begins with an undisciplined one. The mind is like a garden. If you don't plant it with purpose, weeds will grow by default. And weeds don't need permission to take over. They'll spread until there's nothing left. That's what fear, doubt, and distraction do if you don't take control. Discipline your mind. Don't let fear write your story. Don't let doubt steal your promise. And don't let distraction waste your life, because the one who conquers their thoughts conquers their future. Money is not evil. Money is not good. Money is neutral. It's a tool, just like fire. Fire can warm your house or it can burn it to the ground. The problem is not money. The problem is whether you are the master or the slave. Too many people let money control them instead of controlling money. They chase it, they worship it, they let it dictate their decisions, and then they wonder why their lives feel empty even when their pockets are full. Understand this: money was designed to serve you, not to own you. If you spend your life working for it instead of making it work for you, you'll never be free. That's why so many people stay trapped in jobs they hate, because money has become their master. They wake up not out of passion, but out of desperation. And when you let desperation drive, it will drive you into debt, into stress, into compromise. Listen carefully. Money will reveal who you are. If you're selfish, money will magnify it. If you're generous, money will magnify it. That's why wealth without wisdom destroys people. You've seen it. People win the lottery and are broke again in 2 years. Why? Because they never learned how to control money. Money controlled them. The ancient wisdom text says, the love of money is the root of all evil. Not money itself, the love of it, the obsession with it, the way it enslaves you when you don't have discipline. You've got to start seeing money as a tool, like a hammer. A hammer can build a house, or it can smash it to pieces. If you know how to use it, it builds legacy. If you don't, it destroys your future. Wealthy people don't just earn money, they direct it, they command it, they assign it. They give every dollar a job, every dollar a mission, because they understand that uncontrolled money slips through your hands like sand. Think about the farmer. He doesn't just throw seed anywhere. He studies the soil, he plants with intention, and he waits for the harvest. Money is the same. If you throw it around recklessly, it will not return. But if you plant it with wisdom through investments, savings, discipline, it multiplies. That's control. That's mastery. And I know what some of you are thinking, but I don't have enough to manage. That's the trap. If you don't control the little you have, you'll never control the lot. If you waste $100, you'll waste $10,000. If you can't manage $1,000, you'll ruin $100,000. Wealth is not about the amount. It's about the discipline. The philosopher Socrates said, he who is not contented with what he has would not be contented with what he would like to have. If you can't master contented discipline, now more money will only magnify the chaos. So let me be clear. Money is a terrible master, but an excellent servant. If you master it, it will open doors. It will give you freedom. It will help you bless others. But if you let it master you, it will chain you, it will blind you, and it will drive you into a life of endless chasing with no peace. Control money before it controls you. Stop lying to yourself. Stop saying, when I make more money, then I'll get disciplined. No, you won't. If you can't manage little, you can't manage much. Money doesn't change your habits. It exposes them. If you're careless with $100, you'll be reckless with $10,000. If you waste $10, you'll waste $10,000. And if you can't save $1, don't fool yourself into thinking you'll suddenly know how to save thousands. The truth is, discipline is not about the amount. It's about the mindset. People think they're broke because they don't have enough coming in. But in reality, many are broke because they don't know how to manage what's already in their hands. That's why when more money comes, it slips through just as fast, because the same habits follow them. The great teacher Lao Tzu once said, he who conquers others is strong. He who conquers himself is mighty. And when it comes to money, self-conquest is everything. Think of it like this. Money is like water. If you can't hold it in a cup, you'll never hold it in a bucket. If you keep poking holes in your little cup with reckless spending, impulse buys, and debt, then when a bucket comes, it will still leak out the same way. You don't fix money problems by adding more money. You fix them by fixing your management. Look around you. How many people get raises, get promotions, get more money, and they're still living check to check? It's not because they don't have enough. It's because they lack discipline. They upgrade their car, upgrade their clothes, upgrade their lifestyle, but they never upgrade their mindset. They let money control them instead of controlling money. Wealthy people, they master the little, they respect the $100 the same way they respect the $10,000. They treat every dollar like a soldier. It has an assignment, it has a purpose, and it's not allowed to wander aimlessly. They understand that stewardship of the small is the test for stewardship of the great. Let me be practical with you. If you can't put away 10% of a small paycheck, you won't suddenly do it with a big one. If you can't resist swiping your card for fast food and impulse buys now, a bigger check won't stop you. It'll just make the mistakes more expensive. That's why some of you are chasing more money when what you really need to chase is more discipline. And don't think this is just about finances, it's about life. If you can't be faithful with little responsibilities, why would life trust you with big ones? If you can't manage your time now, more success will crush you later. Money is just the mirror showing you the truth about yourself. The ancients were clear. He who is faithful in little will be faithful in much. That principle never fails. If you want the 10,000, the 100,000, the million, prove you can master the 100 first. Prove you can save it, invest it, multiply it, respect it. Because if you can't manage $100, you'll never manage $10,000. Some of you are broke, not because you don't make enough, but because you're spending your life trying to prove something to people who don't even care about you. You're buying shoes, clothes, cars, watches, not because you need them, but because you want to impress somebody else. And here's the hard truth. Those people you're trying to impress, they're not thinking about you when they go to bed at night. They don't care about your car note. They don't care about your debt. They don't care about your stress. You're out here bleeding financially, trying to buy validation from people who would forget you tomorrow. Listen to me. Status is an illusion. It's smoke. It disappears the moment the wind blows. You think you're winning because you pulled up in the latest ride, but if the bank owns it, you're not the owner, you're the driver. You think you're winning because you got the designer labels on, but if you can't pay your rent on time, that label's wearing you, not the other way around. The philosopher Epictetus once said, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. That means the richest man isn't the one with the most things. It's the one who's mastered his appetite. You've got to stop craving approval and start craving freedom. Because every time you try to impress, you chain yourself to debt, to stress, to working a job you hate just to keep up the image. That's not freedom. That's slavery dressed up in Gucci. You've got to flip your mindset. Real wealth doesn't scream. It whispers. The truly wealthy don't need to show you their money. They let their peace, their time, their freedom speak for them. Stop confusing looking rich with being rich. Looking rich drains you. Being rich sustains you. Looking rich is a liability. Being rich is an asset. Think about this. The same money you're spending to flex on Instagram could be working for you. That $200 on shoes could have been $200 invested. That $500 on a night out could have been $500 saved toward a down payment on your house. Every time you choose impression over investment, you rob your future self. And the saddest part is, most of the people you're trying to impress are broke too. It's the blind leading the blind. Everybody flexing, nobody free. You got to learn to let go of the need to be seen. Your goal should not be to look wealthy. It should be to become wealthy. Your goal should not be to impress others. It should be to impact others. When you stop spending money to impress, you free that money to grow, to multiply, to build something lasting. And let me tell you this, when you finally reach true financial freedom, you won't even care about impressing anyone. Your peace will be your flex. Your freedom will be your statement. Your legacy will be your proof. Stop wasting money trying to impress people who don't care about you. They don't matter. Your future does. Money was never meant to trap you. It was meant to free you. But too many of you are using it the wrong way. Instead of buying freedom, you're buying chains. Every time you swipe that card for something you don't need, you're tightening the cuffs. Every time you take on debt just to look good for a moment, you're signing up for years of bondage. And the saddest part, some of you think you're free because you're spending, but in reality, you're enslaved by the very things you bought. Real freedom is not in having everything you want. It's in having control of your time, control of your choices, control of your future. What good is a brand new car if it owns you? What good is a big house if the mortgage is crushing you? What good is looking rich if you're stressed, sleepless, and stuck working jobs you hate just to keep the image alive? That's not freedom. That's a golden cage. Understand this: money is a tool, and when used wisely, it can buy you freedom. It can buy you time with your family, options for your life, peace in your mind. When you're financially disciplined, money stops being your master and becomes your servant. And when money serves you, you can make decisions based on purpose, not desperation. The great Aristotle once said, "The ultimate value of life depends upon awareness and the power of contemplation rather than upon mere survival." Translation: life is more than just getting by. You weren't born to spend your years chained to bills, chained to credit cards, chained to a lifestyle you can't afford. You were born to live with purpose, to think bigger, to move freely. But you can't do that if every dollar is tied up paying for your past mistakes. Think about it. True freedom is when you wake up and your money is working for you while you sleep. True freedom is when your bills are paid and your choices are yours. True freedom is when you can say no to toxic jobs, toxic people, toxic environments, because you're not bound by financial desperation. And you can't get there by chasing chains disguised as treasures. This is why discipline with money matters. Every dollar you spend is either buying you change or buying you freedom. When you save, when you invest, when you live below your means, you're buying freedom. When you overspend, when you chase status, when you live for the approval of others, you're buying chains. And let me tell you, freedom doesn't come overnight. It's built brick by brick, decision by decision. It's saying no to a temporary thrill so you can say yes to long-term peace. It's sacrificing today's flex for tomorrow's independence. It's realizing that a quiet life with peace is worth more than a loud life with stress. Use your money to buy freedom, not chains, because freedom is the real wealth. Everything else is just decoration. At the end of the day, it's not about how much you talked, how much you thought, or how much you earned. It's about what you leave behind. Your legacy is being written right now in the way you control your mouth, your mind, and your money. Some of you are so focused on today's pleasure that you're forgetting tomorrow's picture. You don't realize your children, your community, your name, all of it will be shaped by the decisions you're making in this very moment. If your mouth writes checks your life has to cash. Every word you speak plants a seed, and those seeds don't just affect you, they affect the people who hear them. If all you're planting is negativity, gossip, and excuses, don't be surprised when your children grow up with the same patterns. But if you plant discipline, vision, and encouragement, your words can outlive you. Proverbs says death and life are in the power of the tongue. That means your legacy can either breathe life into generations or suffocate them before they even begin. Your mind is the foundation of everything. The thoughts you discipline or fail to discipline shape your entire trajectory. If your mind is clouded with fear, doubt, and distraction, you pass that down. But if you train your mind to focus, to persist, to believe in possibility, you leave behind a blueprint of resilience. Marcus Aurelius taught, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. That doesn't stop with you. It extends to everyone who follows you. And money, let's talk about it. Money is not just about your lifestyle, it's about your legacy. The way you manage money today will either leave your family empowered or enslaved. Too many people pass down debt instead of wealth, chains instead of freedom, stress instead of opportunity. And it's not because they didn't make money, it's because they didn't manage it. Real legacy is not a fancy car that depreciates in 5 years. It's investments, it's land, it's wisdom, it's habits that last generations. Look at history. Great men and women weren't remembered for the things they wore or the cars they drove. They were remembered for their discipline, their principles, and the way they used their resources to impact others. Legacy is not built by accident. It's built with intention. You don't stumble into it. You construct it day by day, decision by decision. So here's the truth. If you want to be remembered for more than just existing, then master your mouth, master your mind, and master your money. Speak life, think discipline, manage wisely, because long after you're gone, people won't talk about what you had. They'll talk about who you were and what you left behind. The way you control your mouth, your mind, and your money will determine whether your name fades away in silence or echoes in legacy. So here's the bottom line. You don't need more opportunities. You don't need more chances. You don't need somebody to come save you. What you need is control. Control your mouth so your words build instead of break. Control your mind so your thoughts guide you instead of mislead you. Control your money so it works for you instead of owning you. That's the formula. That's the difference between living average and leaving a legacy. The truth is, you can't keep blaming circumstances. You can't keep waiting for tomorrow. Your legacy is being written right now with every decision you make. And the question you've got to answer is simple. Are you writing a story worth remembering or a story that will be forgotten? I'm challenging you today. Stop wasting time. Stop wasting energy. Stop wasting resources. Start speaking life. Start disciplining your mind. Start mastering your money. Because when you do, you won't just change your life. You'll change your family, your future, and maybe even generations you'll never meet. The choice is yours. Will you let your mouth, your mind, and your money control you, or will you rise up and control them?